welcome back to my channel and to part 2 of my video about Lenition in Irish. Be sure to go back and watch my first part about it. In the last video we talked all about what Lenition is and how it's adding an H after the initial consonant of a word, and that creates a whole new sound. But for now I just want to pick right back up in the list of rules about when to lenite in Irish. And as a disclaimer, if any of my pronunciations sound a little odd or whatever, part of that might be because I try my best to pronounce in the Ulster dialect way. So that might be part of what you're hearing, but likely what you're hearing is I'm just from Alabama and I'm doing my best. Okay, so let's jump right back in this. We left off in the last video after this long list of exceptions about when not to lenite indefinite genitive nouns after nouns that would usually trigger lenition. We got through that. Now let's pick right back up about cases where you will lenite. So you will lenite on a definite noun without an article though, with a genitive function. So when you think definite noun, at least what comes to my head is you think of the word the. So the difference between dog, an indefinite noun, and the dog is definite. It's not any dog, it's the dog, or that dog, or this dog, or whatever. But there are some definite nouns that don't have articles. For example, names, towns, stuff like that. So, for example, we've got the name Sheila. Daddy, Hela. Sheila's dad. It's the dad of Sheila. Sheila's a definite noun without an article, so we will lenite. An exception to that is unless the definite noun with a genitive function is the doer or the object of a verbal noun that follows it. So, for example, tá sí in Aidan bríd a ghalán. She is opposed to bríd going there. In Aidan means opposed. It will trigger its object to be genitive. In this case, its object is bríd. Bríd is a definite noun without an article. If it just said she is opposed to bríd, like as a person or something, tá sí in Aidan bríd. But that's not where the story ends. She is opposed to bríd going there. So a verbal noun in this sentence is go, which means to go. Bríd is the subject. She is of that little phrase or clause of sorts. So she is the one going. She is the one doing the action of going. So even though you would normally lenite bríd, you won't, because she is the doer of the action of a verbal noun that follows her name. Another example, tar éis dom cat moam al. After I find my mom's cat. So tar éis means after. Whatever its object is will be in genitive case, always. So its object is cat moam, my mom's cat. That is a definite noun. It doesn't have an article, but it is definite because it's not any cat, it's my mom's cat. It does have a verbal noun following it. Fal, that means finding. So it's receiving that action because my mom's cat is being found. You will not lenite. It won't be hat moam, it stays cat moam. Okay, so the next rule is going to sound like a doozy, but it's really not that bad. Do lenite on the first of two nouns with genitive function if the second of the two is definite and if they both modify as a pair, as a unit, the word before them. Here's a test. Can the definite noun alone logically modify the word before them by itself? If the answer is no, then the first of those two nouns with genitive function is lenited regardless of the previous word's gender and kept in nominative case, but still having a genitive function. So we've got Madra, Yarher, Hutch, cat's brother's dog. So cat's brother is working as a unit to modify the word Madra. Let's put it through that test. Can the definite noun alone, being cat, can that word modify dog on its own and still the concept be true? So, it's cat's brother's dog. Yes. It's a brother's dog. Yes. Is it cat's dog? No, it's her brother's dog. It failed our test. So we're going to keep brother, jar, in nominative and lenitive. Let's look at another example. Bara shaklaja unwuhala. This one looks a little bit different. It's like the other phrase in that it has two genitive functioning nouns following the main noun bara, chocolate and the boy. Let's put it through the same test we put the other thing through. Can the boy logically modify bar by itself and it still makes sense? The boy's bar. Yep, it's the boy's bar of chocolate and it's the boy's bar. The definite noun can logically modify bara by itself. So we will put the nominative of chocolate, chocolage, into the genitive form as it's seen here, chocolaja. We have to look at the gender of the first noun bara now. Bara is a masculine noun. It's singular and nominative and doesn't end in I plus a consonant. So we won't lenite. Let's look at a similar example. Of haklaja unwuhala. Well, something must be different here to make of the chocolate be lenited. Well, all the same things are true. The boy can logically modify that first noun of. It's the boy's egg. It's a chocolate egg, and it's the boy's egg. But in this case, of is a feminine noun. So we are going to put chocolate in the genitive and lenite it. Now, an exception to this is if the first of the two genitive nouns is a verbal noun and the second is a definite noun, that is both the first noun's object and its modifier, it stays unlenited and in the genitive. So for our example, we have bur Gielta Nolor, the book dealers, but it literally can be broken down into men of selling of the books. Okay, Gielta is our genitive verbal noun. Nolor is our definite genitive noun. Nolor modifies the verbal noun because what kind of selling is it? It's book selling. It also receives the action. It's also the object of that verbal noun because the books are being sold. So that's true only in Standard Irish. Other sources say lenition in this particular case would be acceptable because fur is a plural masculine noun with a slender ending. So according to some people, you could get away with saying fur Yielta Nolor. Okay, also lenite on last names after ni, we, Vic, and Nick. So for example, we've got Padraig O'Donnell, Patrick O'Donnell, but Moira Nigonal, Mary O'Donnell. Except C or G names after Nick or Vic. So an example, Enya Nick Kara, we don't lenite there. Okay, so lenite on the noun after numbers 1 through 6, 11 through 16, 22 through 26, 32 through 36, etc. So we got proka, which means jar, but kera froka is fiha. An exception to that will be plural nouns after 3 through 6, 13 through 16, etc. And remember from my video about counting objects, in almost all cases, a plural noun won't follow those because counting objects, you'll keep things in the singular. But there are a few words that are normally in the plural, such as the word kyun, which just means like one thing. So tree kin is triha, 33 things. Another quick exception is for S nouns after ein Instead, S becomes TS and just the T is pronounced. So, sao means saw, but ein tau awan, one saw. Okay, do Lenite on the adjective describing the noun after 2 through 19. So, glotcha means cute, and ocht bushin rocha, 8 cute kittens. Okay, so Lenite after unhed, the first. For example, kursa, course, but unhed, hursa, the first course. Lenite after jish and birch, which both mean two people. The people is understood, or you can add people. So, for example, Colleen, girl, but birch, Halani, two girls. Okay, so you're going to Lenite the adjective modifying the noun after jish and birch. So we've got the adjective jas, which means nice. Birch, Halani, yasa, two nice girls. Lenite jag, which means 10, after the word do, which means two, and after singular nouns ending in a vowel. So, for example, a doyeg, 12, or quig hrali yeg, 15 trolleys. Lenite on birch between two nouns regardless of the gender of the first noun. So, Bielen Virch Hokeri, a restaurant of two chefs. Lenite fihid after plural nouns ending in I plus a consonant or consonants. So, for example, tree, kin, ihid, 23 ones or things. Also, Lenite genitive numbers after the article un, but not d, f, s, or t words. So, tus on huigula, the beginning of the 5th day. On do after no. Example, rud no ho, a thing or two. Lenite on a verb after the negative particle ni. So, kovni, to remember, but ni hovni mershin. I don't remember that. Lenite after the direct relative particle which kind of means that. It doesn't really mean anything because it's particle, but it's used kind of in a way where it means that. So, shulhitu, you will walk. Unkassen a hulhitu, the path that you will walk. Lenite after ma, which means if. Example, chantu, you go. Mahentu, if you go. Lenite after the preposition which kind of means to. Example, canoe, it's a verbal noun of the verb to sing. Bawailetu a hanuji, she'd like you to sing for her. Also Lenite on lenitable regular verbs in the past, past habitual, and conditional tenses. So, kiani to buy, but hiani me unwenka nua. I bought a new necklace. Also Lenite after the past and conditional forms of the copula, ba, near, ger, and nar. So, bawailum kapante, I would like a cup of tea. Also Lenite after the possessive pronouns mo, do, and meaning his. So, for example, tos, puzzle, mohos, my puzzle. Lenite after the vocative particle So, in Irish, if a personal name is lenitable, then when you address that person, you'll say plus their name, lenited. So we've got Deirdre, but hi Deirdre, hi Deirdre. Lenite after illa, which means all or every. Dini means people, and illahini, all people. Also Lenite after prefixes. For example, my, which means good, but an y, very good. Lenite on the second part of a compound word. So, for example, canch means talking, cool hunch, backbiting. Some words come lenited in their natural state, such as hed, which means first, or yeah, which means two when you're counting things. But hed is delenited after the possessive when it means her, and after any word that eclipses, and as a prefix in some instances. So, for example, we've got a kid roher, her first bike. J fuin gaid, 10%. Gaid honoracha, first honors. And yas delenited if it follows ein, dun, gen, fuin, on, sa, or hied. So for example, sadawad, in the two boats. Some words are generally never lenited, such as J, which is the genitive of God, or it can kind of mean day in the sense of days of the week. Jardine, which means Thursday. San, which means saint. Purgadora, the genitive of purgatory. And Parhash, which means paradise in the genitive, except when it's used as a proper noun, such as Gargin Farhash, the Garden of Eden, or the Garden of Paradise. Also, some words starting with the prefixes mo, do, and muil. Also, genitives after phala, which means feast, nil, which means saint, san, which means saint, and j, when it's used to mean a day and a day of a week. Also, titles, like of books, movies, etc. Personal pronouns are also never lenited, and foreign words. And I hope this guide was helpful, and just remember to have fun and keep on practicing, because that's what I'm going to do. Man, that was a lot, and I'm still trying to memorize them too, but I came away from this knowing a lot more than I did, that's for sure. And I tried really hard to gather as much information as I could from several sources, and I challenged myself in this to come up with my own examples, except for I think probably about three, where an example I found was just clearly the best example. But other than that, they're all original examples. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and if you liked these pages that I used, I'm going to publish them on my Instagram, and you can find them there. So I guess I'll see you next time. Bye all.